actually, my mother and my father had separated. So we finally got into a room, actual house, which is in Ybor City area. And we had a room, I had a shared room with my sisters. And a particular person was a young person too. So I was 4 years old. Definitely after my grandmother passed away, somewhere around there. And it was, in the back room. I'm gonna get real raw. What happened is, it was multiple times, but the very first time, she wanted me to penetrate her. And I did not know anything, me as a young child. I didn't know what a erect penis was until then. Then she wanted me to enter her and everything. And I'm here crying. And she's like, do it. And I said, no. She slapped me a couple times to do it. She did it, I'm not sure how many numbers of times she did it, but that's how it usually happens. This person was a very close person. Even to this, not to this day, but there was at one point that I couldn't really trust my best friends. Even, I couldn't give them full trust. Even it plagued my relationships with, being, in a relationship with a woman. Like, I couldn't really trust that much. I couldn't. Only just survive just by myself. I was the youngest child. Like, my two sisters are older than me. I couldn't really relate with them either. They recently found out in 2021. Okay. They don't know the exact person, but I did tell them another person actually messed with me too as a young child, which is a man.
And then how did they react about that?
How they reacted, they didn't know at all. They didn't know, and when they found out, when they found out who the individual was, they're just like, they was not surprised. I don't know how they were not surprised, because he was at least 6-7 years older than me. But they're just, I don't know, just my family, they're weird. They kind of just reflected on how his life and everything. I'm like, that's wrong of you doing that to him, because he also suffered too. Because I know one thing, when you do, when people go through molestation or whatever the case may be, the actual person also suffered too. How I saw myself when I was younger, not just only that I couldn't trust people, I couldn't trust my own actions as well. Like, I procrastinated a lot of things. It was hard I was indecisive a lot of times in my life. Sometimes I get real serious about something, the next thing you know, I could drop it just like this. I really needed to know if some actual individual can actually love me. And that was difficult on its own as well. It was really difficult to even open up to an individual and be vulnerable to an individual. And society says men cannot be vulnerable to people or anyone, because it's a sign of weakness. But my biggest factor of healing was one of my close friends telling me they went through in situations similar to what I went through. And that started the healing process. If he never opened up and was vulnerable to me, I'll probably never open up to anyone. But it just, for him just being open, it relieved me to be open to people about my testimony. more open. I'm just gonna give you some numbers. So we reside, of course, in Tampa, with the Raymond James Stadium. The Raymond James Stadium actually sits about 67,000 people. Let's just imagine there's 60,000 men in that one stadium. 60,000 men. Doesn't matter what age, whatever the case may be. But those 60,000, 10% to 15%, men between 25 and 40 will actually be open to be vulnerable about this situation. 15 to 10%. So you minus that 60,000, that's 54, 56, somewhere around there. 56,000 men that still didn't step up and be vulnerable about a sexual trauma of this situation. And the reason why they're not saying it, because to knock down a man, you got to give him shame and guilt. And you give them shame and guilt, they'll suffer in silence. And you won't even know. And they'll even smile at you and still you won't even know they're actually going through this situation. So to answer your question is, I'll say like being vulnerable to and be open. Because my breakthrough was because my best friend was open. At first, I did not know what boundaries was. And when I was younger, before I was saved, it used to burn me out. Like, it used to burn me out, and I did not know how I actually felt till somebody like told me about, hey, you do this. And next thing you know, like, I do not feel burnt out at all. Those times that even being vulnerable to people also burnt me out too, is because that they're working for me at the same time too, that's a whole different other story. But having boundaries, it did help me out to the right people that I need to be vulnerable with. I'm going to start off with this. I'm open to resources as in therapy and etc. But how I came about is Jesus Christ. What happened is that just like he's my best friend, he's also saved too. And he was just being vulnerable, and of course that opened me up. And I developed a relationship with God, and he just put a mirror in front of my face of all the parts about me, especially unforgiveness. I held unforgiveness like I'm the world champ, I had a belt right here, and I always went right back to my negativity just like I was saying, just like it's the world championship belt, like, yeah, I went through this, and you see this scar? There's men that they have this war scar. Yeah, I kind of was like that, right? Next thing you know, he just showed me, hey, you went through this situation. You went through this situation, right? And I know if you forgive these people, you'll stop holding on to things. And then when I started I've forgiven the individual that, touched me originally. It was a big weight off my shoulders. Even to what I struggled after from the beginning, which is I lost control. I forgave myself. Self-sabotage, I did not have value because I was devalued as a child. What I would say is, it's okay to be vulnerable. What the world is saying, portraying that this is that, it's that, it's that, move that out of the way. Get that wall off in front of your face. And when you remove that wall, speak to someone that you trust and be vulnerable. Because when you're vulnerable, there's a breakthrough that's going to happen. Whatever it is. Presence helps out. Being a listening ear helps out. especially a person that does not trust. Because a person that does not trust, we're big on actions. So if you're not listening to us, we can automatically cut that out. I don't think you're not listening, so I'm not vulnerable no more. So presence is a big deal. I'm Kevin. I'm a survivor. Not a victim.